शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां 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 शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर
Timji, I think you can go ahead. I think you're on mute.
I believe there's some problems unmuting.
Oh, just a second. Timji, can you try now?
Okay, yep.
Oh, sorry.
Sharadam Sharadam Bhojavadhanam Vadanam Bhuje Sarvada Sarvada Smakham Sannidhim Sannidhim Kriya Bharati Karuna Patram Bharati Patabhushanam Bharati Patamarudham Bharati Tirthamashraye Vidyanam Vinayasampannam Vedaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvagyam Vidushekara Bharati. Welcome to the 15th session of Sri Lalitha Sahasranama lectures by Guruji Sri Subramanian on behalf of SVBF North, Vande Vidya Shankaram series. These lectures are based on Sri Bhaskaracharya's exemplary commentary Bhashyam on Sri Lalitha Sahasranama, namely Saubhagya Bhaskaram. Since June of 2021, we have completed 14 sessions, discussed more than 750 Divya Namas of Devi, more than a halfway mark. I hope we will discuss more today. I don't know exactly how many more Divya Namas we will be discussing, but we will listen to Sri Subramaniam, and enjoy his lecture today. Let us begin. Let us begin the session, Mama.
Thank you. Gajananam Bhutaganaati Sevitam Kapita Jampu Phalasarpakritam Umasutam Soka Vinasa Karanam Namam Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Aspat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike Saranye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Shri Matre Namaha Om Shri Annadhaya Namaha Om Shri Vasudhaya Namaha Om Shri Sachamara Ramavani Savya Dakshina Sevitaya Namaha Om Shri Kataksha Kankari Puta Kamala Koti Sevitaya Namaha Om Shri Shivasaktaika Rupinyay Namaha Om Shri Lalitambika Namaha Om Shri Shantananta Avaduta Satgurave Namaha Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva. Namaskarams to all. Welcome to session 15 in the series of Lalitha Sahasranama under the Vande Vidya Shankaram program of SVBF North. We have actually completed 14 sessions so far, more than 1 year. And we continue today with session 15. I hope you all enjoyed the celebrations of Gokulashtami and Krishna Jayanti. And today happens to be the World Senior Citizens Day. Our Sanatana Dharma always respected elders, but now it seems the West has formalized it into a day when we recognize the contributions of senior citizens and we express our gratitude to them. So greetings to all elders, wishing them a happy Senior Citizens Day. Well, I want to begin really with a question somebody asked me recently. We recite Lalitha Sahasranama regularly. Why should we really listen to the meanings and commentary? I was thinking about it, and let me try to answer this question. You know, our ancient Puranas, including Lalitha Sahasranama, which is the part of Brahmanda Purana, were actually intended to explain the Vedic doctrines. But what happens today in these days of scarce time and rat race and materialistic pursuits, most people tend to be very casual and they are not seriously interested in Vedic doctrines or spiritual development. So they ask this question, what's in it for me? If I recite Lalitha Sahasranama, I will become prosperous. Let me tell you why we should listen to the meanings and commentary. I'm just going to give you a couple of reasons. One, of course, the reading is very good, chanting is very good. They do it in public now. But understanding the meanings of the names makes it a lot more enjoyable. It's like listening to a cricket commentary while watching the game. You enjoy it more. Two, is Lalitha Sahasranama is called the Rahasya Nama Sahasra, the 1,000 secret names. And as I mentioned, every verse is mantra. And every nama is loaded with a lot of powerful inner meanings. If you look at the meanings, you will understand the concept of Shakti as a form of Brahman. It will help you in better understanding of Sanatana Dharma, and eventually it will lead you to spiritual development or awakening of your mind to many new things that you were totally unaware of before. For example, you will gain a much better understanding of yoga. It is just not a set of physical postures or exercises as it is made out in the West. It's much more to deal with controlling the mind. Use is to connect. Yoga comes from that. And you will also learn a lot more about ancient heritage. And 3, Bhaskaraya, he explains his cryptic inner meanings with comparison to other Puranas like Upanishads and then Bhagavad Gita. All that, there is a comparison. There are different interpretations given. So, Lalitha Sahasranama in essence contains a theory of the universe. Bhaskaraya provides a great deal of information covering various disciplines, such as science, yoga, technology, management, arts, humanities, and spirituality, of course. That's a great gift to us, isn't it? It will improve your skills in dealing with a variety of situations in life. That's the art of living. And number 4, above all, you will get a better understanding on the beauty of Sanskrit. I keep explaining it on many occasions on how beautiful the language is. So what is needed is really an open mind and a quest for learning. So that is all what is needed, and that you get all these benefits. There are many more, but I'm not listing them. But principally, these 4 benefits you get by listening to these kind of lectures. That's why people go and listen to many Swamijis coming, the Chinmaya Mission, other people. Every time the Shankaracharyas, any of them, from Sringeri or Kanchi or anywhere else, when they speak, you learn something new because they always get an exposure which is different, and we are able to get something learning from them. So it's a question of getting more knowledge. Okay. Now let's come to our session now. In our last session, 14, we completed up to Slokam 144 and Nama 749. And today, after the Dhyana Slokam, we'll begin with Slokam 145 and Nama 750. So let me share the screen with you so that you can see the slogans both. Yeah, here it is. Okay, let's all recite Dhyana Slokam. Sindhurarana Vigraham Trinayanam Manikka Maudi Spurata Taranayaka Sekaram Svitamukim Apina Vakshorukam Hanipyam Malipurnarasasakam Praktot Palam Bipratim Saumyam Ratna Gadasta Rakta Charanam Jayet Paramambikam Arunam Karuna Tarankitakim Tisapasankocha Pushpapana Chapam Animad Viravirtam Mayukai Ragametik Bhaviye Bhavanim Jayet Padmasanastam Bikastavanam Padmapatrayadakshim He Babam Pita Vastram Karakali Lasat Sataptem Padmam Varangim Sarvalankari Uktam Satamavetam Bhaktanam Ram Bhavanim Sri Vidyam Chantamurtim Sakala Surunatam Sarvasampat Pradatrim Sa Kunkuma Vilepna Balikuchambi Kasturikam Savantahasi Rechanam Sasarachapa Pasha Ankusham Asesh Jana Mohini Maruna Malya Pushambaram Japa Kusuma Basuram Above Vilfare Ambika. We'll start with Slokam 145, and then as usual I'll give the explanation for each Nama. Maheshwari, Mahakali, Mahagrasa, Mahasana, Aparna, Chandika, Chanda, Munda, Suranishudini. It starts with Maheshwari, the great goddess. Devi is the spouse of Maheshwara. Maha means great, like in Mahavishnu or Mahalakshmi. So Maheshwara, his spouse is Maheshwari. Maheshwari is also one among the 7 Saptamatrikas. What called? Brahmani, Vaishnavi, Maheshwari, Indrani, Kaumari, Varahi, and Chamunda or Narasimhi. So she takes her name from Lord Shiva, and she's believed to have been born from the body of Lord Shiva. She's armed with the same kind of weapons that Shiva has got, and the symbol and characters of Shiva also. If you see the picture on the left side, you see she's depicted as Varada by Astadarim, having 4 arms, one arm Varada Mudra, which is granting wishes, and then one Abhaya Mudra. The right hand is Abhaya Mudra, protection. The other 2 arms, you see, one is holding the Shula, the trident, and Damaru on the other hand, on the right hand. And the Vahanam she has is bull, Rishabham. So it is almost same as Shiva, and therefore she's a part of Maheshwara. That's why she is called Maheshwari. The next Nama is Mahakali. Maha is again great. Kali means typically she who is black. Kala in Hindi and Marathi also means black, Kali means also goddess of time, like Kalam, goddess of time or fate. She is called great because she rules over even death. So Devi is referred to as Mahakali, Bhadrakali, and Kalika. Kali is considered as a ferocious form of Devi. The very name Kali induces some kind of a fear in our mind. She has got a figure with popping eyes, a necklace of skulls, and protruding red tongue, and armed with weapons. Some of them you can see on the picture on the right side. But Ma Kali is also Mother Goddess who destroyed the evil Asuras. And being a dark-colored goddess, she is seen as Kali and also a great power of time or Kala. We'll see quickly how she is described in various scriptures and how her greatness was realized by many devotees even in the recent centuries. How did Kali appear first? There is a legend to it. It is said that Kali emerged first from Shiva. At one time, the Devas were harassed and they were attacked also by an Asura called Daruka. Nobody could destroy him because he got a boon from Brahma, which prevented anybody to kill him, but he forgot to include a woman. So it would allow only a female to kill him because he thought that there is no woman who can challenge him. Therefore, he forgot to include a woman. Except a woman, nobody else could kill him. So Parvati merges with Shiva's body, reappearing as Kali to defeat Daruka. So Bhaskar Raya actually quotes Linga Purana, chapter 106. He says, I'm quoting him, having entered the body of the Lord of Devas, who is Shiva, Parvati made her own body out of poison from the wreck of Shiva. And Shiva created Kali, the dark-necked goddess, with matted hair, one pulled out from his hair, from his third eye. On seeing Kali, she resembled fire, and whose black neck was with poison. Even Devas, including Brahma, Vishnu, and Indra, they ran away due to fear. So that is the kind of fearful appearance that came out of Shiva's body. So in Devi Mahatmyam, chapter 7, 2 verses 5 and 6, they describe the emergence of Kali and how the Asuras, Chanda and Munda were killed. On seeing their armies, they become very angry. So the verse, let's say 5 and 6, I'm going to read it out for you. Tata kopam chakorachayir ambikatan arin prati kopena chasya vadanam mashivarnam abhutada prakuti kutilastasya lalata falakadrutam kali karala vadana vinishkrantasi pashini tata kopam chakrochair chakorachair ambikatan arin prati. Ambika becomes very angry. Kopam, even in Tamil you say kopam, right? So it's a Sanskrit word. Kopam is angry with those enemies. And because of that, her face became dark. Mashi varnam. In Tamil, mashi is called ink. In olden days when we were using ink, ink pen, they used to call mashi. The Sanskrit word. So it became dark as mashi varnam. And from the surface of her forehead, suddenly, Kali Karala Vadana leapt out with a sword and a noose. Kali Karala Vadana. So this word Kali is used repeatedly. If you find Devi Mahatmyam chapters 7, 8 and 9, word Kali is used. In chapter 12, the Falasruti part of Devi Mahatmyam, there is more description of the form of Mahakali. It appears in verse 38, and I'm going to read this out. The Vyaptam Tayeta Sakalam Brahmandam Manujeswara Mahakalya Mahakale Mahabari Swarupaya. Actually, this is told by the Rishi Sumedas to the king Surada, who came to seek his advice. So the Rishi tells him, Your Majesty, Vyaptam Tayesit Sakalam Brahmandam Manujeswara. The whole universe is pervaded by Mahakali, who appears in the form of Mahamari Swarupaya. Mahamari, it is Samharani, the time of Mahakala or Pralayam. In fact, this word Mahamari is used very frequently. It is also meaning catastrophe. Like you had the COVID-19, and Prime Minister Modi ji always uses the word Mahamari to describe COVID-19. The next verse 39 uses the word Kala twice. And you can read his explanation of Mahakali. She who destroys at the appropriate time and also creates and sustains at the appropriate time is called the great power of time. Saiva Kale Mahamari Saiva Srishtit Bhavatyaja Sitim Karoti Bhutanam Saiva Kale Sanatani. It is she who is the Mahamari, the great catastrophe. Pralaya Kale. It is she, the birthless one, who doesn't have any birth. One who creates. Sitim Karoti. She is one who maintains life. Bhutanam Saiva, of all beings in its time. So, this is another definition of Kali given in Devi Mahatmyam. But there is a question. Parvati is addressed as Gauri, Gauri means white, fair one. And she is also Kali, the dark one. It's not a contradiction. There are two opposite colors, white and black. They actually represent the two opposing nature of the Devi. Parvati is also the goddess of love, or Kamakshi. So, there she is Gauri. In times of danger, she can become very fierce and angry, like Kali. Then it is black. Kanchi Mahapariva says, Shiva gets into the task of Samvara after taking black-colored Parvati as Shakti. When we refer to Ambal as Samhara Murti, we call her as Kali. It comes in Devitin chapter 1. In India, you must have heard there is a very famous Mahakaleshwar temple, one of the 12 Jyotirlingas in Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh. And the Devi there is Mahakali. Some people also call her as Harasiddhi Mata. Now, this Mahakali was worshipped by the great king Vikramaditya. Just imagine how old it is. It's also a kshetra where Kalidasa, who was an illiterate, gained wisdom by the grace of Mahakali. Talking about Kalidasa, there is a very interesting story how he became a Mahakavi. He was actually a foolish shepherd who eventually became a great poet by the grace of Mahakali. The story goes that, some jealous minister wanted to humiliate the princess Vidyotama. So they brought him and said, he's a great man, but he doesn't talk. So you can marry him. So the princess Vidyotama, she tested him with just signs, So she raised her index finger and said this. And then quickly Kalidasa showed like this 2 fingers. Actually, she raised one index finger to mean God is one. There is no second. But Kalidasa, when she said 2, she interpreted Kalidasa's answer is one is Paramatma, the supreme God, and the other is Jivatma. See her own interpretation. So further, she said she showed 5 fingers to indicate there are 5 senses. And Kalidasa thought she was about to slap him or something, and she showed the fist like this, At this time, the princess Vidyotama thought, what he means is controlling his senses is most important. Therefore, he hold all the 5 fingers, and this only will lead to ultimate happiness. So she was quite surprised by his wisdom, and she agreed to marry him. But later, she found out that he was a fool, and he drove him out in the middle of the night. So Kalidas went inside a nearby temple, it's a Kali temple, and he prayed to Kali to grant him wisdom. And Kali wrote on his tongue, and he instantly became a Mahakavi. Kalidasa means Kali's servant, great poet. He wrote many things. His very first prayer was Sharadandakam. You must have heard it. Manikkavinam upalalayantim madalasam manjulavag vilasam. It goes very beautiful. Dandakam is a form of prose. And he wrote many great dramas, like Sakuntalam, Raghuhamsam, Kumara Sambhavam, Megha Sandesham, and so on. And he became one of these Navaratnas, 9 jewels, the court of King Vikramaditya. So that's the story of how Kalidasa became great by the grace of Kali. But in recent times, we've seen the past 150 or 250 years, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda, Ram Prasad Sen, all from Bengal, because Bengal is full of Shaktas. They are some of the legendary devotees of Kali. And they actually demonstrated the spiritual realizations from Kali. So all these stories I'm telling you because you can see how greatness is achieved with the grace of Devi. So it's an inspiration for us to worship Devi and to ward off fear. Durga Saptasati says, Om Sarvaswarupe Sarvese Sarvashakti Samanvite Vaye Bastrahino Devi Durge Devi Namosute. You can ward off fear by reciting this Durga Saptasati. So Kali is not all that fearful. She is fearful only to enemies, but she is a blessing for people who worship her. The next word is Mahagrasa. This is Nama 752. Mahagrasa means the great devourer, the great eater. You have the Brahma Sutram. It's quoted by Bhaskar Raya. Om Atta Chara Chara Grahanat. It comes in chapter 1. Atta means the eater. Chara Achara Grahanat. Chara means movable. Achara is opposite, immovable. The movable and immovable Grahanat is both are taken as food. By whom? Who can be the eater of such a great universe as such? Only Brahman can be alone and no one else. Brahma Sutram says it is Brahman. He is the Supreme Lord. So this Nama, I know, it refers to the great dissolution when everything is devoured by Ambal, who is Mahasamharini. That's why called Mahagrasa. And Mahasana is the next Nama, 753. They actually add on to the previous Nama. A Mahat because it is consuming both the animate as well as inanimate things. And Ashana is to eat. Maha Ashana means the great eater who eats everything, both the animate as well as inanimate. Possibly this, the earlier Nama refers to the Pralaya, and this particular Nama refers to the capability of Devi to consume everything as a great devourer. You will find the Devi's glory described in detail in Shakta Upanishad. She is not only the principle of creation, she is also the principle of auspiciousness, the principle of cosmic energy, principle of austerity, tapasi jwalanti, of destruction too. She is also the principle of divine knowledge. She is Jada Shakti and also Chit Shakti. So that is Mahasana. In addition, you have the glory of her capabilities in other matters. Chandrika, Aparna, that's the next Nama. Now, Aparna, there are different interpretations. Bhaskara says Apa means removing, and Runa is debt. Aparna means without debts. Devi does not owe anything to anybody. So that is one interpretation. Parna in Sanskrit also means leaf. Aparna is just the opposite, which means no leaf. What does it mean with no leaf? The Kalika Purana says, Devi, when she was doing penance, tapas, she renounced eating even the leaves, as food. So she got the name as Aparna, no leaf. It is repeated in Brahmanda Purana also. There is another interesting story, which I think Mahapariva said once. There is a Lord Shiva in Suchindram, near Nagarkoil, South India. The Lord Shiva there is called Sthanumurti, also Sthanumalayam. What does Sthanu mean? Sthanu means still, it's something that appears like a dead wood, but still has life in it. Now, Ambal is so close to Ishvara that she was actually entwining Shiva as a creeper, as a very tender creeper. She was around with leaves. But when she looked at Sthanumurti, which was kind of still without any life in it, she said, why should I alone be glamorous with nice leaves and all? So I'm going to shed all the leaves. So she shed all her leaves and became a creeper without leaf. So she is called Aparna. Another beautiful interpretation of Aparna. Next Nama is Chandika. What is the name of Chandi? Chand actually means, in Sanskrit, tearing apart. In Tamil, we say Shandai, right? I think it has come from this word. They're tearing their hair apart. So probably the word Chandai has come from this Sanskrit word Chand. So the goddess Chandi is one who tears apart. And Who does it? When somebody is angry. So, Ambal becomes angry at the enemies. So, Devi Mahatmyam is a part of Markandeya Purana. It's also called Durga Saptasati and Chandipat. It is popularly known as Chandi because it is describing the glory of Chandika. Chandika means terrible, like God Rudra. The goddess has two forms. One is benevolent and the other one is benevolent. So in her terrible form, she destroys all the evil demons. The benevolent form, she is the mother of the universe. So the recitation of Chandipat, is guiding the reader into the presence of Chandi, the Divine Mother, in such a way that it will settle down all the conflict in his mind. The mind is tearing apart. So that mind which is tearing apart, it will settle down and return to peace. So that is also another interpretation. And she is the source of all forms of goddesses. With different mood brings different forms of incarnation. So this is Chandika, which is derived from the word Chand, who tears apart. There is also another meaning, according to Devi Bhagavatam, Bhaskar Raya cites this, that a girl of 7 years is called Chandika. That is the name given. Going further, the last word in this, Chanda Mundasura Nishudini. Everybody knows Devi, she destroyed Chanda and Munda, the two demons. So she was called as Chamundeshwari. In Markandeya Puranam, you have this. Yasmat Chandam cha Mundam cha Grihitva Tumupakata Chamundedi tato loke Kyata Devi Bhavishyasi. Yasmat Chandam cha Mundam cha Grihitva Tumupakata. Because you captured Chanda and Munda, Chamunde iti tate loke Kyata Devi Bhavishyasi. You shall be called as Chamundi. Chamunda is the name also of the Saptamata. We saw that earlier. So that is the greatness about this Chamundeshwari, and she is angered by Chanda and Munda, who eventually got destroyed. So Devi Mahatyam also identifies Chamunda as Kali. As per Devi Mahatmyam, Chamunda emerged as Chandika from the eyebrows of Kaushiki goddess. She was assigned the task of eliminating or killing the demon Chanda and Munda, who were the army generals of Shumba Nishumba. So she fought a fierce battle with these demons, ultimately killing them. So that is how it is identified as Kali in Devi Mahatmyam. The second portion of Devi Mahatmyam is most popular because it is describing the destruction of Mahisha. Mahisha is a buffalo demon. And Durga, she kills demon Mahishasura. So the name Mysuru is derived from Mahishuru, Mahisha, the place of Mahisha, who was described by goddess Chamunda. The famous Chamundeshwari temple is on Chamundi Hill in Mysore. But there is also another interpretation from Varaha Purana, a sloka, how Devi got the name Chamunda. Devi cha Trishikena jau tam daitam samata adayat tayatu tadayastasya daityasa subalochane charma munde upe samyak pratar magbhute babuvatuhu surorastu danavendrasya charma munde chanadyataha apahrityadhar devi chamunda tenasa abhavat. There was an asura, a Daitya king called Ruru. R-U-R-U, Ruru. Rurorastu Danavendrasya. Devi pierced him with a Shudaidam, whereby Charma Munde Chana Adyadaha. The head, Mundam, and the body, Charmam, they got parted. So she actually took away the true body part. Apahrityat Harat Devi Chamunda Tenasa Abhavat. She took away the true body part, Charma Munda, so she got the name Chamunda and also called Chamundeshwari. So that is another interpretation from Varaha Purana. It's a beautiful song. Some of you must have heard. I'm sure Meenakshi Sundaram has heard this song. It is by Harikeshan Nallur Muttaya Bhagavatar. He composed a nice song on Chamundeshwari in Raga. It's a Hindustani Raga adapted. It's called Gauda Malhar. Sarasamukhi sakala bhagyate. Sarasamukhi sakala bhagyate. Chamundeshwari Sarasamukhi sakala bhagyate. Chamundeshwari Sarasamukhi sakala bhagyate. Marajanaka shodari, Marajanaka shodari, Mahishasuramardini, Marajanaka shodari, Mahishasuramardini, Sarasamukhi sakala bhagyate. A beautiful song. Sarasamukhi. Sarasa means lotus. Lotus faced one. Sakala bhagyate. You give me all prosperity. Sri Chamundeshwari. Marajanaka Sodari. Mahavishnu's sister. Mahishasura Mardani. So this is in praise of Chamundeshwari and Mahishasura Mardani. So it's a beautiful song and it speaks of the glory of Chamundeshwari. Okay, let's go to the next verse. 146. Chara Charatmika Sarva Lokeshi Vishwadharini Trivargata Tri Subhaga Trayambaka Trigunatmika. Chara Charatmika. Chara Akshara. Chara means perishable. Chayam, Charam, all is perishable. Opposite Aksharam, which means imperishable. So it means syllables also, which we talked about Aksharam. The Varaha Purana says Devi is all syllable, yet she is called one syllable, as she is the ruler of the universe. We have seen before that Devi is in the form of alphabets and words. We explained it before. She is Sabda Brahman. Every word in Lalitha Sahasranama is a mantra. Devi Upanishad says, Mantranam Matrika Devi Sabdanam Jnana Rupini. She is in the form of Matrikas in mantras and in the form of Jnana in sound. Sabdanam Jnana Rupini. In fact, Nama 577, if you remember, says, Matrika Varna Rupini. Matrika means source or origin. So in this context, it means alphabets. The realization of Matrika, it means liberation to the soul. Soul realizes Matrika by means of mantra. The origin of this is Matrika, or Sanskrit letters from A to Cha. From A to Cha, that's why it's called Aksharam. A to Cha. And Bhaskara is also quoting Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, sloka 16, where Sri Krishna says, Dvavimau Purushau Loke Chara Achara Yevacha Chara Sarvani Bhutani Kutasto Akshara Uchyate. So Krishna here says there are two kinds of beings. The Chara, which is perishable, Akshara imperishable. So all beings in the material realm are eternal. In the material realm, Maya binds the individual soul to a material body. From the tiny insect to even devas, all the embodied living entities are perishable in this world. They have to go through repetitive cycle of birth and death, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Whereas the akshara, imperishable, which is a soul, possesses an immortal body, which is free from the cycle of birth and death. They reside forever in the divine realm, where is the abode of God. So, Shara refers to the body and Akshara refers to the soul. Being and non-being, Sat and Asat, are also called Shara and Akshara. In fact, if you remember Vishnu Sahasranamam, there is a slokam. Dharme Sahasranam Avijnata Sahasramtu Vidata Kritalakshanaha Dharmagut Dharmat Dharmi Satasat Aksharam Aksharam Avijnata Sahasramsu Vidata Kritalakshanaha. Sat here means what is true. Parabrahman, who is the truth. The word Satyam comes from Sat. You all know India's national motto is Satyameva Jayate. Truth alone triumphs. Taken from Mundaka Upanishad. No, the central element of Upanishad is the reality named Brahman. Brahman, who is the nature of Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat is truth, Chit is consciousness and Ananda is bliss. Asat is opposite, which is hidden, not having reality. Charam, all being subject to change. Aksharam, the changeless one. So, the Charam and Aksharam both have opposite meanings and they are described in all these kind of Puranas, including Vishnu Sahasranama. Next Nama is Sarva Lokeshi. Sarva Lokeshi. He is the ruler of all worlds. You know, there are 7 worlds. God. Bhur Bhuva Swaha Mahar Janar Tapar Satya. Gayatri Mantram, you see. Bhur Bhuva Swaha Mahar Janar Tapar Satya. Seven worlds. She is the ruler of all these 7 worlds. That's why called Sarveshwari. Vishwadharini. Vishwadharini. She is supporter, holder of the universe. Trivarga Datri. Trivargam. Trivargam means 3 Purusharthas. You know, Dharmartha Kama Moksham. Aram Porul Inbam Birdu, they call in Tamil. She is a giver of 3 of them. What is Dharma, Artha, and Kama. Of course, she gives moksha also, but it is not included here. Here it is only 3 varga. Dharma, Artha, Kama. Dharma is righteousness. Artha is wealth or a pursuit of a profession. Kama is desire, of course. So, Dharmartha Kama Moksham, commonly we call it as Purushartham. And man thinks of living a life full of joy and plenty, so she gives all that. But the happiness we get is 2 kinds. One is temporary, and the other one is a permanent. What is called Chitrinbam, Perinbam, they call it. Chitrinbam is what is temporary. Perinbam is the great joy, an eternal bliss, you know. Never leaves one once received. That is moksha or vidu, they call liberation. And Adi Shankaracharya, he asserts in Bhajagovindam that this artham is the wealth, is anartham. Wealth is meaningless. Arthamana artham bhavaya nityam nasit shelesha satyam asatyam putrada pidana bhajam pitihi सर्वत्रैषा विहिता रीतिः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते अर्थमनर्थं भावय नित्यं नास्तितसु कलेशः satyam asatyam. The wealth is really meaningless. There is no joy in it. Think about this, reflect it. Putradavi dana bhajam bitiji. Even a rich man is afraid of his own son. Sarvastraisha vihita ritiki. This is the way wealth is everywhere. Artham here means wealth. So these are all temporary, trivial pleasures. But ultimately, what is the eternal one is liberation. So, attaining moksha is the ultimate goal in our dharma. It is irrevocable. So, the purpose of religion is to take us back to our home, moksha. So, Abbal here it says 3 objects of desire, dharma, artha, kama, she gives all that. It does not mean she does not offer moksha. In fact, there is a nama, you remember Muktida. Muktida means once she offers liberation to those who deserve it. So she does give Muktida, but it is not for everybody. The next nama is Subhaga. The Sanskrit word Shubham, as you know, it means auspicious, good luck, propitious, very promising. Likewise, Subhaga has several meanings. So Bhaskaraya comments some of them. One, of course, it can mean good fortune. Second, he says a girl of 5 years, she is called Shubhaga. And Bhaga means wealth, desire, strength, effort, fame. So many meanings are there. The Vishnu Purana says Bhaga means wisdom, dominion, fame, strength, effort, desire, wealth, virtue, sun, salvation, everything. We have seen in one of the namas earlier that Bhaga means sun. It means the sun is illuminated because of Ambal. She resides in the sun and causes it work. Devi is known as Kushmanda. Kushmanda is 4th aspect of Navadurga. Ku means little. Ushma means Ushnam, warmth or energy. Kushmanda means one who is having the power of creating warmth. Anda means a cosmic egg. So she is a goddess who has the power and capability to live inside the sun. So she's called Subhaga. And another thing is that there is, whenever there is, every month the sun exists, there is the energy of Vishnu, who is composed of 3 Vedas. The rigs shine in the morning, the Yajus at noon, and the other portions, the Saman at the end of the day. So, the manifestation of Vishnu is threefold. As Rig, as Yajus, or Saman. Rig in the morning, Yajus in the afternoon, noon, and Saman in the evening. So, threefold energy of Vishnu exists in the sun, but it is also manifesting as 3 gods, Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra. Though the sun is always possessed with the energy, neither rises nor sets. The energy of Vishnu exists in the sun. It is encircled by 7 troops. What is 7 troops? The 7 troops are Devas, Rishis, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Yakshas, Sadhyas, and Rakshasas. They are called Sapta Kiranas. You can see Surya in a cart being driven by 7 horses. We also see 7 rays, Sapta Kiranas, which are called Divya. So the collective meaning of the above passage The 7 troops are the causes of the sun's monthly changes, but the energy, it does not change. She is the foundation of all. Subhaga also means achara vastus. Achara means not having motion, motionless things. Of what? Of 8 things which are used at very auspicious occasions. Quoted in Padma Purana. Ikshuvastaru Rajamcha Nishprabha Jiratanyake Vikravacha Gokshiram Kusumbam Kusumam Tata Lavanam Cheti Saubhagya Ashtakam Sthavaram Bhaskaraya quotes this in English, of course. It doesn't say the Sanskrit one. I got it from the Google. Sugarcane, Ikshuvas. Taruraja. Taruraja means Panamaram, Palmyra tree. Nishprabha Jiratanyake. Sprouted jeera and coriander seeds. Goat Shiram, the cow's milk, all is transformation, including curd and butter and all that. Yellow garment, kusumba flowers, and lavanam, which is salt. So these 8 things are called achara vastus, and subhaga refers to all these 8 things. And this is another interpretation. Padma Purana says, Trivashtava Saugamayam Bhukti Bhukti Pradam Umam Aradya Subhagam Bhaktya Nariva Kim Na Vindati. What else should not one, whether a man or woman, get by worshipping Uma, Pradam Umam, Uma with devotion, who is the person giving blessings to Devas and bestower of enjoyment and salvation. Trivishtava Saubhagyamayam Bhukti Bhukti Pradam Uma. So, what else one would not get by worshipping Uma? And here it is Subhaga. Aradya Subhagam Bhaktya. So, Subhaga is mentioned here in Padma Purana also. Going further, Trayambaka. Trayambaka, I think, is easy to understand. 3-eyed. But Shiva has got 3 eyes. It's quoted in Vedas. In fact, the very first word in Mahamrityunjaya Mantram, Trayambakam Vajame Kesukandem Puttivardhanam Urvaruko Abandanar Mrityo Muchiyamam Amritat. Say Trayambakam, right? Trayambakeshwar, you probably know. It is a temple near Nasik. And Devi there is called Trayambaka. It's part of Trayambakeshwar. There's also a temple, Trayambakeshwari temple in Karnataka. The only one I know of. It is near Mysore. I think it's about 60 miles in a place called Chamarajanagar. So that is Trayambakeshwari. And Devi Purana, Bhaskaraya quotes Devi Purana, which says the moon, the sun, and the fire are the 3 eyes of Devi. They are called by sages 3-eyed. Trayana Brahma Vishnu Rudranam Ambika Matava. Trayana Brahma Vishnu Rudranam Ambika Matava. Try Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. Amba is the mother of them. Mother of Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. So that is Trayambakam. Another definition from Bhaskaraya. Trigunatmika, easy to understand. 3 gunams, which is Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And that is a common understanding. You all know that she is having all the 3 qualities, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, in equilibrium. That's a slokam 146. You can see the picture on the right side where you have 3 eyes, and then the picture at the bottom is really Trayambakeshwari temple. Going further, slokam 147 and 148. Surka Bavarkata Sutta Japa Putnipa Kritihi Ojovati Tudidara Yajna Rupa Priyavrata. Surka Apavargata. Ambal, Swarga, is Swargam, heaven. She is the bestower of Swargam and Moksham. Swarga is heaven. Apavarga means liberation. She is the emancipation of the soul. Exempt from further migration. Also known as moksha. So Swargam gives a anitya sukham. It is not permanent. But moksham provides nitya sukham. That is brahmanandam or bliss. So it's called apavarga in Sanskrit. So the happiness which is not interrupted by pain or in future is called Swarga. Now Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 slokam 21 says Tetam bhuktva sarvalokam vishalam Shirne punye matyalokam vishanti Evam Trayi dharmaman prapanna Gatagatam kama kama labante. King quoted by Bhaskar Raya. After enjoying the pleasures of heaven, when the stock of punya gets exhausted, they have to return back to earth. So those who follow the Vedas, who want to really desire objects of enjoyment, repeatedly come and go this world and heaven and back. So most Vedic scriptures support this belief that the happiness in moksham or salvation is an eternal one. So Ambal gives both Swarga and heaven and liberation. Swarga or heaven and liberation, permanent bliss. So that is the meaning of Swarga Apavargata. Next is Suddha. Suddha is very easy. It's pure. She is pure. She is free from the stains of ignorance or avidya. Japa Pushpa Nibhakriti is the next nama. Japa Pushpa Nibhakriti. Pushpa. Japa Pushpam. It means, in Tamil we call it a Shambarati, the red one. And Malayalam also Shambarati. In Hindi they call it as, I think, some Gudal. It generally in bright red color, but here in US I see this in different colors. So here it means Japa Pushpa Nibhakriti means Ambal whose body is like the Shambarati flower. The other interpretation given by Bhaskar Raya is the name can be taken as two syllables. Syllable A before as Ajapa and Pushpani Bhakriti. Ajapa, Pushpani Bhakriti. Ajapa is a mantra. Japa starts in vocal form. Ajapa just opposite. It means without chanting. That happens only after years of long practice, and extraordinary things happen when you do ajapa, the mantra, without really using the vocal. It kind of seeps into consciousness and automatically instinctive recitation is called ajapa. Without repetition, japa brings attainment of certain results. Now, ajapa is the opposite, which is a continuous recitation, and it is something different from japa. It's also, you call it as Hamsa mantra. A person when inhales with the sound sa, rather inhales with sound ha and exhales with sound sa. So it's ahamsa, hamsa, I am he. So it calls Hamsa mantra, repeated by everyone each day. It is the ajapa japa, but that is ordinary. In Tiruvarur, Lord Nataraja is said to be performing Ajapa Nadanam in Vishnu's Hridayam, in heart, to match the rhythm of his breathing. That's why when you go there, the idol of Sita Raja is not shown completely. It is covered with flowers and a piece of cloth in such a way that only his face can be seen. He makes sure that devotees should not mistake, oh, Shiva is dancing over the body of Vishnu. So that should not happen. So they show only the face. So here it is the Ajapa mantra, another interpretation given by Bhaskar Raya, that it can mean Ajapa without really vocal chanting. And Japa Pushpa Nibha Kritihi. Pushpa Nibha Kritihi. Pushpa is, the flower. Japa Kritihi. When you say Japam, the Japa way, it comes after a long practice and it flowers like a pushpam. Ojovati, the next name. Ojovati means vitality. Ojas is actually a dhatu in the body, which is considered to be a deity. And that deity is the one which will nurture Ojas, which is a quality of vitality, strength in the human body. Now, Ojas is created through a systematic process called Medas, Tejas, Varchas, Ayus, and Ojas. So this Ojas is the one which is upholding the life of energy in the prana. So Ojas means light, vitality, strength, radiance. And Ambal has all these qualities. She's called Ojovati. And devotees who worship Devi constantly may also expect to be recipients of such qualities, expect to be active and strong. So Ojovati is her name. Next one, Dutidara. Dutidara. Duti means light. In electricity board, it's called Vidyut Mandal in India in Hindi. Dyut is lightning really. So Dhara means holding. Dutidara means the light bearer. So she's holding the light to the universe. Yajna Rupa. Yajna Rupa is next one. Ambal is the form of Yajna. What does Yajna mean? Yajna means worship, sacrifice or offering. It is derived from Yaj, which is meaning divine worship. Any activity performed to please Ambal or Shiva or any Bhagavan, it's called Yajna. Yajna also means Vishnu, according to Taittiriya Samhita. So scholars interpret Devi as a form of Vishnu also. So there are different yajnas. The Pancha Maha Yajna is what is common. One is Brahma Yajna, which is part of daily ritual, which we do after the Madhyanika, which is typically offered to Devis, Devas, Rishis and Pitrus. It's a daily ritual. Deva Yajna, for the pleasure of Devas, like Ganapati Homa and all that. Pitru Yajna, which is Tarpanam and Sradham and altar for ancestors. Bhautika Yajna is feeding animals, birds and all that. And Manushya Yajna, which is Atiti Bhojan, treating guests, Annadhanam and all that they come. So these are 5 kinds of Pancha Maha Yajna. And the great sacrifice is really worshipping one's own self, Yajna Rupa, with devotion. That is Yajna Rupa. So Ambal is the form of Yajna, and worshipping one's own self with devotion is the greatest Yajna. Priyavrita, last Nama in this one, is fond of, Vritam means vow, Priya means fond of vows. Ambal is fond of all vows which are made to any deity. She is very fond of vows. So that's why people take vows. They go to the temple, they take a vow, well, I would get this, so I'm going to say fast for 10 days or 15 days. I'm going to read Devi Mahatmyam for 9 days. All this is Vritam. Going further, the next one, 148, is Duraradya Duradarsha Patali Kusuma Priya Magati Mer Nilaya Mandara Kusuma Priya. Dura means difficult. You say Durdasai, Duradishtam, all that, right? Means difficult. Aradhya is worship. Ambal is difficult to worship. But for whom? For all the fickle-minded people who do not know what is the power of Ambal. Many persons, they are unsettled mind, incapable of proper worship. Actually, Shankara sounds a warning. Said there could be majority of people for whom looking at beauty from a feminine and negative standpoint, it might be prejudicial to their progress and spirituality. So, when Ambal has to be worshipped, you have to have a steady mind, not fickle mind. So, the bottom line of this is worshipping her is very difficult without controlling mind and senses. So, you must have the proper mindset to worship her. So, Duradarsha, Patali Kusuma Priya, Duradarsha is the next one, which is difficult to control. Dura Aradhya is difficult to worship. Duradarsha is difficult to control. It is very difficult to perceive her. Let alone worship her, you cannot perceive her. So that is the greatness of a Devi, unless you have the steady mind. Patali Kusuma Priya. Patali. Patali is a flower, It is Tamil, they call it Padripu. In English, I don't know. It is called, I think, trumpet flower. Like Shiva is fond of Bilva leaves, Devi is fond of Patali flowers. Mahati. Mahati is greatness. She's addressed as Mahat. Mahati means it's something great. So she is a great goddess. Meru Nilaya, the next name. Meru Nilaya is residing on Meru. Now we have already talked about Meru, which is right on top of the Sri Chakra is called Meru or Mahameru, and she lives on top of Meru, which is in the center. So that Meru Nilaya is referring to the Meru, which is the three-dimensional form of Sri Chakra. Bhaskara, of course, gives another interpretation. He says Sri Chakra has three aspects: Bhumi, Kailasa, and Meru. And Bhumi is identified with 8 deities when it is Matragalatas. And Kailasa and Meru is when it is with 16 Nitya deities. Meru Nilaya means she abides in the with 16 Nitya deities. So the mode of meditation is given threefold. The three Samhitas, Sanat Kumara, Sanandana, and Vasishta. So Bhumi, Kailasa, and Meru are the three aspects connected with Sri Chakra. And she is in the Meru Nilaya, and she is identified with 16 Nitya deities. So that is another interpretation given by Bhaskar Raya. The next one, we go to Mandara Kusuma Priya. She is fond of Mandara flowers. Mandara trees actually is supposed to be in Devaloka. I haven't seen one here. Devadaru, they call it. Mandara Kusuma Priya. Going further, I think we have got just 2 verses left out. Sorry, 149 is the verse. Veera Radhya Virat Rupa Viraja Vishvato Mukhi Pratyak Rupa Parakasa Pranada Prana Rupini. Veera Radhya. Veera means bravery, and Veera means warriors. She is was worshipped by warriors. What type of warriors? Not those who carry weapons like guns or anything like that, but by brave devotees. So the characteristics of Veera is also given as one who enjoys the self, brings about destruction of egoism. What is opposed to the self? That is duality. I am different. God. We believe in Advaitam. Such people are considered as brave. So Ambal loves the worshipping of people from such Veera. So Veera Aradhya. Virat Rupa. She is in the form of Virat, which is a cosmic whole. This practically covers the entire universe. She is in the form of Virat Rupa. She is in the form of the entire universe. Viraja. V means here without, and Rajas means impurity. She is without impurity. Other meaning could be that she is without any passion, without blemish. Viraja is also a presiding deity at a place called Utkal Kshetra. And Bhaskara is quoting Brahmanda Purana. It says, at Viraja, the goddess is Viraja, established by Brahma. And by having her darshan, a mortal purifies as far as 7 generations. So that is what he is quoting at Viraja, where the presiding deity Utkal Kshetra. Going further, Vishvato Mukhi. Vishvato Mukhi facing all over, facing every way, faces all directions, having eyes and mouths on all sides. So she is present everywhere, omnipresent, and she can manifest anywhere with eyes, mouth, and head everywhere. Pratyak Rupa. The next one is 781, which is interior. Pratyak means going inwards. Pratyak Rupa. Tending inwards. Bahirmukhatva, Paranmukhatva. Inward direction towards the self is Antarbukhatva. So she is Bahirmukhatva as well as Antarbukhatva. Here it means Antarbukhatva. She is tending inwards. Devi is visible only to see who see inwardly. She can be realized only from within. What we call it a self-realization, which is the core of Sanatana Dharma. Every being is divine. And experienced people say, to attain God, don't look outside, don't look within inside. Because Ambal resides in the mind. So you have to only find her. So it is Pratyak Rupa. Parakasa. Para is supreme, like Parameshwaram. Akasha is ether, the supreme ether. Because she is without any quality, she is a Parabrahman. Parabrahman is Parakasha. The next one is Pranada, 783, the giver of life. Pranan means life. Pranada means one who gives life. So she is the one who gives the life. Prana Rupini. She is in the form of life itself. Prana Rupini. It's called something that Ambal is within inside. So she is the one who is also giving you the love. Prana here means Brahman also. Prana is Brahman, Kha is Brahman, Ether is Brahman. Pranada Prana Rupani. The last verse for this day is Marthanda Bhairava Aradhya. Marthanda, worshipped by Marthanda Bhairava. Who is Marthanda Bhairava? Marthanda means sun. The Skanda Puranam is being quoted by Bhaskaraya. Because he was born from Mrita Anda, called Marthanda, inert egg. Mrita Anda. Bhairava means Vatuka. Padma Purana says the son, after worshipping daily Devi, he obtained his lofty position. The Martanda Bhairava Aradhya. So worship by Bhairava, the Kalika Purana is describing in length, but it means worshipped by sun, Martha Bhairava Aradhya. Bhairava. According to Shiva Sutra, effort is also called Bhairava. It is Martanda who destroys the darkness of confusion. So, Devi is to be attained by the rising sun-like effort, which is called Bhairava, Martanda Bhairava. But the king of Pudukkottai is called Martanda. The surname is Martanda. Going further, Mantrinyastha Rajyaduhu, one who has entrusted her kingdom to Mantrini. Mantrini, those who are worshipping Devi by mantras are called Mantrinis. And she has given her entire kingdom to such Mantrinis who devote, who say her mantra. Through thought is mantra, effort is the means, knowledge is the body, manifestation is the secret of mantra. So Mantrini is one who recites mantra, and Manana Trayate iti mantra which protects you. So she is the one who protects you. Those who recite mantras called Mantrini. The next one is Tripureshi, which is the deity. It is a second avarana. The 16-petal circle is known Sarvasa Paripuraka Chakra. Sarva Asa Paripuraka. It means Sarva Asa Paripuraka means fulfilling all desires. The presiding form of Lalita in this avarana is called Tripureshi, the 16, second avarana. So she is called Tripureshi. Jayatsena, the next one is Jayatsena, very simple to understand, with victorious army. Because she killed all Bandasura and others. It refers to the conquerors, and Sena is her Shaktis. Nistraigunya, devoid of three qualities. And Para Apara. The last one is 790 today. Superior and inferior. Superior and inferior. Para Apara. Apara. Para means also far off. And Apara is also means who is near. I am far and near, both. Gita says that Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshvesana priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. He says, I am near as well as far. So there is there are many such slokams which are given in various scriptures where para and apara are defined in different ways. Para is superior, apara is inferior. Para is near, para is far off, and apara is somebody near. And it has meanings that para Brahman is also para apara. So all these are all part of our Upanishads and also in various scriptures. So there is also one which is referring to two kinds of knowledge, the higher knowledge and lower knowledge. That is also para and apara. So these are all described in various Rig Vedas and Yajur Vedas and Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda. So there is a twofold meaning in all the scriptures, para and apara. Supreme as well as not so supreme. And I'm not going into the details today for want of time, But Devi is described as Para, Apara, and Parapara. Also as Parapara. So Varapuna says when speaking about three murtis, it's called Parat Para. In fact, there is a song on Parat Para. Is superior and superior, superior of superior. So Para, Apara, you can take it. That basically means something which is supreme and something which is inferior. She is both in manifestation in different ways. Para and Apara. So today we are coming to the end of session 15. We have completed up to verse 150 and Nama 790. I think we have covered 41 Namas today. So I'd like to conclude today's session with the prayer. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Sive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namosute Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Swasti Prajava Paripalayantam Nyayena Marketa Mahim Mahimsa Go Brahmnepyaka Swamastarityam Doka Samasta Sukhino Bhavanto Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskaram to all. We'll meet again next month, September 18th, Sunday, for session number 16. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mama. Excellent lecture once
Welcome.
again. Beautiful description of Amba's Namas. Listening to you explaining each one of the Namas' meanings, it's absolute bliss. One of the names, Aparna. Aparna was, you gave few meanings. One was Aparna without any, not even leaves on her body. That happened when she did tapas to attain Lord Shiva. We have a temple in Shankaran Kovil, which is very famous for the Adi Masa tapas, where thousands assemble, and Amba is supposed to be even doing a penance on the needle, and she forgoes everything, including any aparna and vastra on her body, to attain Lord Shiva. That's a story. The other highlight of today's lecture I want to talk about is Ajaba Natana. This Thiruvayaru.
Tiruvarur.
Tiruvarur.
Yes.
Sorry. Tiruvarur. In fact, Mutsami Dikshita's Kriti on
Yes.
Dagaraja Paripalaya.
Yes.
This is Gaula Raga, he mentions about this. Achaba Nanga. I didn't understand that the word comes from the word Jaba. Achaba.
Yes.
So I thought it was Ajaba, but it is Achapa. Beautifully done, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Once again.
Welcome. Actually, there are many interpretations. Every Nama has got so many meanings. I'm not able to cover all of them because it'll go on for another 2 sessions, that way.
Yes.
So I
Sure.
try to limit myself to only some of them might be difficult for people to understand because the interpretations are given differently. And Bhaskaraya
Right.
gives about half a dozen interpretations, So each one is different, taken from a different Purana, different scripture. So I have not covered all of them. I've only chosen a few of them to explain to you. But one session can stretch into 3 or 4 sessions.
Absolutely.
That is the length and width of this Lalitha Sahasranama.
So thank you so much.
So, Mama, very thank you. Enjoy pannom. The power of each word is also so much. I mean, it's so many meanings because it has so many dimensions to this. That's
Yes.
really enjoying that. And you ended up with para and ended up with Parashakti Om at the end. So
Right.
nice, apt
Right.
and nice. Every time you ended up with that. I enjoyed that. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Srini, shall we run the Mangalam?
Yes, Namaste. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you.
Mama, if you can please stop your screen share. Okay.
मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के शक्ति गणपति शारदांबिके शंकराचार्यर के शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदांबिके के काल भैरवर के काली दुर्गै के वीर धीर शूर हनुम मारुति चरणतिर्के मल्लिकार्जुनर के செல்வ ஜனார்தனர் கே அம்பா பவானி கம்பத கணபதி சண்டி சாமுண்டி கே ஸ்ரீ கிருஷ்ண பகவான் கே ஸ்ரீ சக்கரவாசினி கே சீதாராம லக்ஷ்மண சகித மாருதி சரணத்திற்கே வித்யாரண்யர் கே विद्याशंकर के वागीश्वरी के वज्रदेग गरुड़ आंजनेयर के श्रीवल्ली देव सेना समेत सुब्रमण्यर के तुंगभद्रै के श्रृंगनिवासिनी के श्रृंगेरी पुरिயில் நிலைத்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே सच्चिदानंद शिव अभिनव नृसिंह भारती के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु सार्वभौमर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विद्यातीर्थर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु भारती तीर्थर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विदुशेखर भारती के मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के शक्ति गणपति शारदांबिक शंकराचार्यर के शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदांबिகை के ஸ்ருங்கேரி புரியில் நிறைந்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Srini.